po sa inyo lahat, sa mga nanonood dyan sa Pinas. Magandang hapon po. Hapon na po dito ngayon sa Cairns. So, ngayon, magre-review po kami ng 14 days quarantine namin dito. This is our last day. Tomorrow, mag-check out na po kami sa umaga. So, before that, magre-review kami ng lahat ng nangyari within 14 days na nandito kami sa kwarto by the time we arrive hanggang today.
The sun is up, it's a beautiful day. My beginning will be as bright as the sun. Come, won't you come along? And it feels so bright, it's like luck is raining on me. Go and follow your heart, doesn't matter how far. There is so much love to give, something's telling me this time. Baby, baby, now I know. Baby, baby, gotta go. There is
So, to start with,
obviously to start with, when you arrive at the airport, you go through all the security and the check-in processes. The quarantine and customs there is very strict at the moment. And once you come through that, there's police waiting for you at a police desk where they go through all the information regarding the hotel. They go through some details, get you to sign some forms, give some dates of birth and basic details, and then put you on a bus with everyone else. Generally, everyone that came in on the same flight will come to the same hotel, so there's no, I guess, contamination of people moving from one bus to another bus or to other hotels.
and then, pagdating po ninyo sa bus, isa-isa lang po ang pwedeng bumaba. So, we were prioritized kasi may mga bata kami. So, we were the very first one to get out of the bus. Nang nasa lobby na kami, may sumundo sa amin na military. And then, before pa kami nakaakyat lahat, tsaka pa po may pinababa sa isa na pasahero sa bus na uli.
So, once we got up to the room, because we're a family of 5, well, 2 adults, 2 kids, and Elizabeth, we were given 2 connecting rooms. To be honest, I'm not sure how we would have survived 14 days in just one room. It is relatively small. That's one of the reasons why we came into Cairns as opposed to into other cities. One, because we've got this fantastic view. Secondly, because we've got balconies. And thirdly, we know that coming from the hotel industry, that resort hotels or hotels in resort or family destinations, the rooms are going to be slightly bigger than they are in cities. So if we flew into Brisbane or into Melbourne or into Sydney, we knew that we would be in a business hotel, and so we would have been in a much smaller room. So I'm glad we made the choice of coming here, right?
Yep. Ang swerte po namin kasi ang ganda po ng view namin dito. So for the last 14 days, hindi po namin na-feel na feeling mo na sa kwarto ka lang talaga.
The rooms themselves are obviously set up for a quarantine. Nobody comes in or out of your room during the stay apart from us. They put a big police sign on the door and a strict quarantine sticker. The beds are made up very basically, so you've got your pillows, there's a bed sheet, and then there's only a blanket. So there's no duvet or anything on the beds, which you would normally expect in a resort or in a hotel. Bathrooms are set up as you would normally expect, so you've got towels and that. However, the shampoo and conditioners are set up in larger squeeze bottles. So I think they're 200, 250 ml bottles. For us, unfortunately, the housekeeping that cleaned the rooms before we came forgot to refill them, so both of the shower gel as well as the shampoo and conditioner were empty in both rooms. But if you pick up the phone and give front desk a call, they bring them up and they put them outside of your room, and then they knock and they leave. So you don't actually have any contact with anyone.
So, pagdating po namin dito, meron po silang binigay na welcome pack per room. So, within 14 days na quarantine ka, may free, included na siya na laundry for 2 times within 14 days. Pwede po kayong mag-deliver ng food outside. Sila na po magdi-deliver sa kwarto, makakatok lang sila, tapos iiwan lang yung delivery mo sa harap ng door. May mga police tsaka militar na nagbabantay sa corridor. Pag may naririnig sila na yung medyo maingay, lumalabas sila agad. Madami din sila sa lobby. So, wala po talagang makakapasok ng kwarto, as in wala po. Yung nag-COVID test kami 2 beses, day 1 tsaka day 10, nasa door lang sila.
In terms of meals, the meals are also delivered to your door. They drop them outside the door, give a knock, and then they leave. So breakfast comes up the night before, so usually around 5 o'clock in the evening, the breakfast is delivered. It's a boxed breakfast, so usually there's cereal, milk, a juice, and a muffin or a cake in there as part of the breakfast box. Somebody just woke up and decided to join us, so
Hi, good afternoon, please.
Say hi, Liz.
Hi. Could you say hello? Not yet. Later,
Still grumpy.
right?
So the breakfast itself was challenging for, I think, Jackie and the kids to start with, having been in Asia for such a long time. Cereal and milk and juice and a muffin for breakfast is not traditionally an Asian kind of breakfast, so I think they found it challenging for the first few days. We did speak to the hotel afterwards, and they were able to cater and change that a little bit towards us as a family, so that was great and it was highly appreciated. Lunch itself was a little bit more, I guess, repetitive and probably in the same line as what you would expect to get as your school lunch most days. So it was a sandwich, which was usually a salad sandwich, either ham salad or roast beef and salad in a sandwich with a side salad and usually a piece of fruit. Once again, Jackie and the kids struggled with this for the first week because it's not something that they're used to having. And we did speak to the hotel, and they were able to correct it for the kids and gave the kids a much more kid-friendly lunch, which they enjoyed much more than what we probably ended up doing when it came to lunch. So dinner was probably the better meal of the day. It was usually made up of 3 courses, so there was a soup, which I guess you've got to understand that the hotel's cooking and catering for I guess up to probably 200 people at a time, so they can't do preferences for soup, so it's usually one large stock soup, which was usually either a potato soup or a pumpkin soup or a minestrone. Probably not a lot of imagination there, although I must admit there was 1 or 2 days that we did have one which tasted like it was a red curry or something in there with the pumpkin, or it had some coconut in there, which was actually quite nice and probably had a bit more of that Asian kind of flair that we're probably used to. The meals for the adults were quite large in size, and we often struggled to finish the full amount. It was quite tasty. On 2 occasions we did have salmon. Most of the time it was usually chicken or beef, and they rotated through rice or pasta or potatoes. So one night you might get pasta, next night potato, next night rice, one night we got noodles. So overall the mains were not too bad. They weren't overly children friendly, so we had spoken to the hotel about that when we spoke about the breakfast and the lunches, and they did correct that for the kids. So the kids were quite happy because they ended up with bangers and mash and lasagna and chicken nuggets and chips and that. So they've been quite well looked after during the time. So the hotel has taken care of them very well, and I guess we can't really complain about that too much, can we?
Dito, every Friday, nagpapapizza po sila. So for lunch, they give you 4 options of pizza. Yung bed sheets nila, nagsiset lang sila ng bed sheet na set, nilalagay lang nila sa harap ng door. Tapos every 3 days yun. Sa gadgets, yung mga adapter or something like that, wala po silang adapter na available. So make sure po na magdala kayo. Yung wifi nila, lagi medyo mahina po siya. Lagi po kami napuputol. Yun lang din yung medyo trouble namin. Pero overall, kung ano naman, okay naman yung hotel. 14 days, hindi naman siya ganun ka yung expected namin na parang feeling mo masasakal ka, hindi naman.
It's actually gone really quickly. I'm very surprised that we're now sitting on the last day, and we're now talking about the last 14 days because I found it's gone very fast, and really the apprehensions I was having about it before coming here haven't really come through. We've got this balcony to escape to if you need to get out and to sit outside and relax for a while, get some fresh air. There's plenty of TV channels to watch, and they've had good programs to keep, I think, everyone interested. There's been something there for Elizabeth, there's something there for David and Sam during the day, and then there's movies and other things on in the evening to watch. As Jackie mentioned, the pizzas have been fantastic on Fridays, and they've also put a musician down on the lower ground, so you can sit out here on the balcony on a Friday afternoon and listen to a live musician for a couple of hours, just to chill out and get into that Australian Friday afternoon spirit. So in terms of the hotel overall, I think they've done an okay job. It probably hasn't been outstanding, but then again, I guess we have to remember that the whole hotel industry and tourism industry has pretty much been closed for the last 9 months, and I'm sure that there's a lot of restrictions on the operation in terms of what they can and can't do. So a lot of the things that come to the room are delivered by police or military services. I think it's only the food and beverage that gets delivered by 1 or 2 people that come around the floors and drop them off at your rooms. So in terms of that, I guess there are some challenges that you probably wouldn't normally expect to see or experience in a hotel. Overall, I'd probably give the hotel a rating of 4 out of 5 in terms of family friendly. I mean, the rooms are functional enough. I would assume that once they're back up and running, taking in holiday guests, that the facilities in the bathroom might improve, because there was only the shower gel and shampoo. So if you wanted things like razor, toothbrush, comb and all these kind of amenities, they were non-existent there. But outside of that, it's difficult to comment too much on the food or what the restaurants are, because obviously they're closed and we're here in quarantine. I wouldn't want to judge the hotel on its food and beverage based on the quarantine food that we've got, because that may not be too fair to them. If I had to, I'd probably give the food a 3 out of 5. There's certainly things I think that they could have done better, and there's probably 101 reasons which we're not aware of as to why that couldn't happen.
Sa lahat po nagtatanong magkano po pinayad namin, we paid for...
We're paying almost 500 Australian dollars a day for the 2 rooms, including meals. So for the 14 days, it's cost us 7,000 Australian dollars, which is pretty expensive. And given the normal circumstances, we could have stayed in somewhere probably a lot nicer and obtained much better meals for that price. Circumstances are what they are, so that's not in our control. But the one positive thing I will say about the rooms, particularly from a family point of view, the room that we've got has got quite a nice king-size bed. So it's not a small bed that you would normally expect to get in most rooms. Particularly here in Australia, a lot of hotels I know here have queen-size beds in their rooms, which we would struggle to fit the 3 of us in. So the bed here is quite a large bed, and there is a separate single bed. So for a family of 3 or 4, the room is actually perfect.
So, yun po yung review namin sa aming 14-day quarantine. Yun po yung experience namin. So, hopefully po, makabigay po ng idea sa mga travelers po dyan.
So, we're out of here tomorrow, and we're off to a new hotel. We're off to a new hotel. Obviously, this one is a quarantine hotel, so we can't stay here. So, we are going to stay in Cairns for another 4 or 5 days. So, we're moving to a new hotel, and we'll be able to get out and to explore a little bit around Cairns. We'll be able to go for a swim in the pool. I think there's some playgrounds and stuff there. So we look forward to being able to share that with you in the next couple of days, our first few days out of quarantine.
Hopefully in the next few days, ma-enjoy namin yung Cairns. Hindi pa po kami nakapunta dito dati. So, this is new for us, for everyone. So, we will see and vlog din namin yung mga adventure namin in the next few days.
Now, one thing to remember, and for those of you that don't know where Cairns is actually at the northern part of Australia. So it's at the top part of Queensland, which is on the northeast part of Australia. And it's on what's called the Great Barrier Reef, which is a World Heritage Area. It's fantastic for swimming, for snorkeling, for diving. It's a big long coral reef with lots of tropical fish around, fantastic beaches. Plus also just north of here we have what's called the Daintree Rainforest, which is a massive rainforest area. So over the next couple of weeks we're going to explore those areas and we'll be able to show you some great places to go in the Daintree, north of here in Port Douglas, and also on the Great Barrier Reef where we'll be heading out and visiting some of the islands. What I look forward to tomorrow is being able to get some good old seafood or fish and chips with
Mahilig lang kumain.
some good tropical reef stuff. Coral trout, wild barramundi. That's what I'm looking forward to tomorrow night for dinner.
So, madami po kaming inaabangan paglabas po namin dito. Kaya sana po abangan niyo po yung mga next vlogs namin.
Thank you.
Salamat po.
Don't forget to subscribe, and once again, thank you very much for watching. We really look forward to seeing you again next time.
You wanna say
Bye
bye?
for now.
Just say bye. Oo.
As bright as the sun, come won't you come along? And it feels so bright, it's like luck is raining on me. Go and follow your heart, doesn't matter how far.